Pablo Escobar has been identified by American authorities as Colombia's leading exporter of cocaine. The Escobar family has reportedly amassed nearly $2 billion, smuggling 1,100 pounds of refined cocaine into the United States every month.
He was a very rich man, and I asked him, how much money do you have? And he told me, I don't know. I really don't want to count that.
If you had $50 million of illegal drug money coming in every day, what would you do? Pablo Escobar, the notorious drug lord, had this very problem. Well, if you call being unimaginably rich a problem. Pablo Escobar, otherwise known as the King of Cocaine, was very, very rich. His drug cartel supplied 80% of the world's cocaine, with millions of dollars coming in each day. As his drug empire grew, so did his pile of money. When Escobar's reign came to an end, he was worth an astonishing $30 to $50 billion. To put things in perspective, that would be equal to approximately $70 billion today. But when you're dealing with that much cash, all earned through illegal means, you're faced with a pretty tricky question. Where do you stash it all? Pablo Escobar had more money than he could count, but there was one thing all that money couldn't do: clear his crimes.
In addition to running his billion-dollar cocaine cartel, the 44-year-old Escobar was accused of waging a terror campaign.
The infamous drug lord was constantly in hiding with his family in an effort to keep himself and the ones he loved out of harm's way.
Pablo lo que hizo fue encerrarnos en departamentos durante años para que nosotros no volviéramos a ver la luz del sol y así podernos proteger.
Keeping his family safe was a very real fear for Pablo, considering he had many, many enemies, all of whom wanted him dead. With so many rivals on Pablo's tail, he was constantly on the run. When things got bad, he would move his family every 48 hours between 15 different hideouts throughout his territory in Medellin, Colombia. Moving so frequently helped him stay one step ahead of his enemies.
Hundreds of army troops scouring the countryside for Colombia's most wanted man. So far, Pablo Escobar has outfoxed them.
His goal was to protect his family. If any of Pablo's relatives were caught and tortured for information, they couldn't reveal their location to his enemies, since they wouldn't even know where he was. In 1992, Pablo took his wife, son, and daughter to one of his hideouts in the Medellin mountains. The cold air and harsh living conditions made Pablo's daughter, Manuela, very cold and sick. Eventually, she developed hypothermia. Now, what does a super rich man do when his daughter gets sick and he has a bunch of money lying around? He sets it on fire. Pablo reportedly tossed $2 million from his stash into the fireplace, sacrificing it to keep his daughter warm. This story shows that Pablo had more money than he could ever want or need. He didn't have a problem getting money. So what was Pablo's problem? Well, he couldn't find a place to store it all. Many drug traffickers, including Pablo Escobar, had a tough time finding safe places for their money.
This is what a ton of cocaine looks like. And here's what the same ton of cocaine looks like when it's converted into cash. See the problem?
George Young, a convicted drug trafficker, shed light on this issue, saying, "It became more of a problem to count the money and stack it. I mean, it took hours upon hours and hours to do it, and recount it, and go over and over it again. It was tedious as hell. Money became an obstacle. You know, it started to take the fun out of the whole thing, believe it or not." Pablo couldn't even store his money in banks. Many Colombian banks refused to touch his illegal, dirty drug money. With banks shutting their doors, Pablo got creative. He cleverly hid his riches in unconventional spots like barrels, walls, and fields scattered across Colombia.
What if I told you there was over $1 billion buried here? Pablo Escobar. He was making over $60 million a day. Where did it go?
As the pressure mounted, Pablo's paranoia grew. He told no one where he stored his wealth, since he didn't know who to trust. Many sources claim that Pablo even killed the guys who hid his money, so they wouldn't take it or tell others where it was. Eventually, in the early 1990s, things would come to a head. The drug empire that Pablo had once ruled crumbled like a house of cards as his enemies closed in. Pablo and his family were no longer safe.
In recent years, as he ran from the police and other traffickers who also tried to kill him, Escobar's power had begun to wane. His trusted associates had been killed or jailed. Even his family tried to flee Colombia.
The locations of the drug lord's secret stashes would go to the grave with him when, in December of 1993, he was gunned down by Colombian police.
Drug king who was for years one of the world's most wanted men was gunned down today by Colombian police in the Colombian city of Medellin.
When today's commando raid in Medellin began, authorities say Escobar and another man first tried to scramble away across the rooftops, then began shooting at police. Both men were cut down in a fusillade of police bullets.
After Pablo's death, his plan to secure his family's future with the money he had earned hit a roadblock. Pablo hadn't left a will, making it difficult for his family to access any money he had stored in banks. He also didn't leave an inheritance, making it challenging for his family to obtain any money through legal means. His other assets, such as cars, jet skis, planes, and houses, were taken by various government agencies, rival cartels, and even Colombian citizens residing in Medellin, leaving the family with very little. The small funds remaining with the family had to be used to shield them from rival cartels. The Cali cartel, Pablo's greatest enemy, demanded millions of dollars for Pablo's crimes against them.
When my father died, the cartels approached to us and they told us, we are going to recover all the money that we spent killing your father for these last 10 years. So we're going to take everything if you want to stay alive.
Additionally, Pablo's family had to use their money to safeguard their lives, as many cartels ordered hits on them immediately after Pablo's death, hoping to destroy his legacy and everything he held dear.
After your father's death, were you seriously threatened? Did you feel like you were threatened? Your life?
My head worth $4 million.
So that was the price of your head?
Yeah, that was the price, $4 million. Just for being the son of Pablo Escobar.
Additionally, many of the cartels ordered hits on Pablo's family out of fear of retaliation.
Was that because people were afraid, his enemies were afraid that you would revenge him?
Yeah, they were very afraid of that.
Beyond the price tag on his own head, Pablo's son, Juan Pablo Escobar, recounted an assassination attempt on his uncle, who was in jail at the time of Pablo's death, stating, "On December 19, 1993, 2 weeks after my father's death, we received a call from Medellin. An assassination attempt had been made on my uncle, Roberto Escobar, in the Itagüí maximum security prison. At the time, we were still sequestered under heavy guard in Bogota. The television news reported that Roberto had opened an envelope from the office of the Inspector General, and it exploded, resulting in serious injuries to his eyes and abdomen. To protect themselves, Pablo's wife, son, and daughter had to use their remaining money to flee the country.
We tried to get out of the country. Yeah. We flew to Germany, and the authorities there, they make us, against our will, they make us return to Colombia.
They attempted to seek asylum in Germany and Mozambique, but both countries denied them. Eventually, they ended up in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where they tried to maintain a low profile and stay out of the public eye. Even decades later, the family has still been unable to return to their homeland out of fear for their lives.
Why don't you return to Colombia now? It's been so many years.
Well, I have to wait until 14 years since my father's death to say goodbye to him because of the threats, you know. Everybody was telling me, if you ever came back, we will kill you.
As you can see, Pablo's family received little money and can't go back to Colombia to try to collect any of Pablo's riches. Although the government and rival cartels managed to get some of his assets, much of Pablo's hidden wealth remained undiscovered. In recent years, the quest to uncover Pablo Escobar's wealth has become a modern-day treasure hunt. Government agencies, rival cartels, and ordinary citizens alike are all trying to discover the hidden locations, hoping to find a piece of Pablo's $3 billion fortune. So has anyone been successful? Let's find out. People from all walks of life, ordinary Colombian citizens, modern-day treasure seekers, and even different government groups have been on the hunt for Pablo's hidden riches. Some of it has been found in old safe houses, within sneaky hiding spots like walls, floors, and other secret nooks. But perhaps the most amazing find comes from Pablo's own nephew, Nicolas Escobar. After Pablo's death, Nicolas was living in one of his uncle's many apartments in Medellin, Colombia. And get this, he says he had a vision that led him to a secret place within his apartment. Trusting his gut, Nicholas found a hidden cove behind one of the walls and uncovered something absolutely mind-blowing.
En este momento vamos a proceder a sacar una caja que hay dentro de la casa en la caleta que nos encontramos hoy.
Inside this secret spot, he discovered a jaw-dropping $18 million in cash, all neatly packed in plastic bags. And that's not all. He also found some of Pablo's stuff, like an old typewriter, a gold pen, satellite phones, and even a roll of undeveloped film. Nicholas commented on the cove's smell, stating that
el olor era impresionante, o sea, ese olor es peor que una mortecina multiplicado por 100.
This horrible smell was likely due to the old decaying money, which had been stuck in the secret cove for nearly 2 decades. While some of the money was no longer usable, a large portion was still in good condition. While this $18 million find was shocking, this wasn't Nicholas's first discovery. In interviews, Nicholas claims he has found money and other valuable goods within some of Pablo's other properties. But the surprises don't stop there. Here's where the story takes another unbelievable turn. A modest Colombian farmer named Jose Mariana Cartolos stumbled upon something absolutely mind-blowing right on his family's land.
While digging an irrigation trench for the plantation, Jose discovered several large blue containers. The 65-year-old farmer had literally stumbled into one of Pablo Escobar's money pits, containing $600 million.
Jose, the modest 65-year-old farmer, could have had his life completely changed by finding all that money. Sadly, though, the Colombian government took it all away, saying they want to use it for community and social economic programs. The government continues to encourage citizens like Jose to search for Pablo's hidden treasures, as they believe there are many other hidden locations waiting to be discovered. But Colombia isn't the only place where treasure seekers are looking for Pablo's wealth. Pablo had homes all across the world, which are just as likely to house his hidden money. One of his best-known homes was his luxurious pink mansion in Miami, Florida, where new surprises have been unearthed.
Escobar bought this pink oceanside villa in Miami back in 1980 and likely used it as a stash house for cocaine, cash, or weapons.
After Pablo's death, the government took control of his Miami mansion, leaving it unoccupied for decades. Then, in 2014, a wealthy individual named Christian de Boudoir became the owner. He's the mastermind behind the Chicken Kitchen restaurant franchise. Christian demolished the house, but kept a close eye out for anything Pablo may have left behind. His diligence would eventually pay off in 2016 when a new discovery came to light.
The infamous drug trafficker continues to grab our attention. This time, it's thanks to one of his hidden safes found in his former Miami Beach mansion.
Christian discovered one of Pablo's hidden safes in the rubble of the demolished building. Unfortunately, it was stolen before he had the chance to uncover what was inside. But as luck would have it, another big discovery was made shortly after.
Right now at 5:30, a major find today at the former home of Pablo Escobar. A second hidden safe was unearthed.
Luckily for de Boudoir, Escobar's men apparently hid another safe under the floor, and the owner isn't taking any chances the second time around.
This is what we were, looking for all along, to find something, of this nature.
This is real. It's still locked. It's very, very heavy. We can't believe it. Now, Pablito is my best friend, joked Christian de Boudoir, the owner of the home, after finding the safe. So what's inside the mystery safe? Well, we're still in the dark, but the people on the scene that day have a hunch. Whatever's in there, it's likely to be valuable.
What do you think if you had to guess?
Well, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be gold or money or anything of value. That's why everybody wants for it to be inside.
All of these discoveries prompted a new TV show called Finding Escobar's Millions to hit the airwaves in November of 2017. The series followed 2 ex-CIA agents as they scoured Colombia's countryside and Pablo's old homes, hoping to dig up the millions he had stashed away.
Look at this. That looks like it's been cut out. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's framed in.
We've been allowed to search one of Pablo Escobar's safe houses in the barrio.
Yeah, definitely could be right.
This is where he ate, this is where he slept, this is where he could have hid money. So this is a great lead.
If you're gonna hide items of value, you wanna put them in a location where people are most likely not to look, and it's a good man-made landmark to key off of.
Across 12 episodes, those ex-CIA agents didn't find a single thing. No money, no gold. Some might think this means there's nothing left of Pablo's fortune to find, but to others, it shows that Pablo was a super skilled hider. He could have hidden his money in places so secret that even these experts couldn't find them. So somewhere out there, there's a good chance that at least some of Pablo's stash is still hidden away. Many believe that millions of dollars are still stashed in Pablo's homes and in the countryside of Colombia, patiently waiting to be discovered. Even with all these amazing discoveries, many believe that there is still more of Pablo Escobar's hidden treasures to find. Some sources believe that these findings could spark a modern-day gold rush, with tourists and treasure hunters exploring the Colombian countryside and beyond, all eager to get their hands on a piece of Pablo's hidden riches. Do you think there's more of Pablo's treasure out there, or do you think all of it has been found? If you believe there's more to be discovered, where do you think the next big find will be unearthed? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below.